My name's Sherry Carter. Thank you for having me here in Canada. And my section is on 2Baton. And the first thing I need a volunteer. Who wants to be my guinea pig? My guinea pig is leaving the room. So anyway, so come on up. And sure you do. All right. So, and you may participate at your table if you have two writing devices. So you need to put a writing device in each of your hands. And the first thing I'd like for you to try to do is to make two circles in the same direction on your paper.
Am I supposed to do this?
So, yes, on the board.
Small?
So, any size you like, Brenda. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, not too hard. Not too hard. And she's able to embellish with a little bit of flair there. Okay. Now try making your circles in opposition. Okay. Keep going. Continue. All right. Beautiful display of opposition. Now what we've noticed is that these are all in the same plane, correct? Facing the front plane, which generally in the beginning 2Baton, that's what you see explored the most, is that front plane. And so now I would like for you to do, Brenda, to draw a line horizontal and a line vertical.
At the same time.
At the same time. All right. Oh. She had to hesitate a little bit, but she was able to do that. All right, now do it in opposite hands.
So this horizontal.
Mm-hmm. And see, notice the left hand was a little weaker. Okay. A little off pattern. Got a pattern problem going there, but okay.
That's because I'm tilting.
Now, let's try, Brenda, to write your name in cursive in both hands at the same time. Yeah. Oh, now we're overlapping. Okay. So that would be
Oh, come on, my left hand.
an example of, actually it is very good, and that the fact that it overlaps is like layering, correct, of the pattern, dual pattern, and it is also a little indication of interrelationship, which is truly a quality in 2Baton that we deal with. What I'm trying, thank you, Brenda, you were great. Yeah, I won't put you, wait, I will try one more, Brenda, one more. Brenda, I want you to write your name, and I don't care which hand, forward in one hand and backwards or upside down. Do it upside down in the other hand.
Oh my God, in printing or writing?
Printing or cursive.
Forward and back?
Yeah.
Like the letters backwards? Oh, I can't do this. I can't do it.
Very difficult. Okay. So the name is not even okay. Okay. B.
What's the next one?
E's.
Oh, what am I?
R. And B. Okay.
Oh, that was hard.
It's very difficult. And so I think from a judging standpoint, when you're watching the development of 2Baton, that what this event adds is that mental demand of manipulating two objects, what we haven't seen other than maybe in pairs by one person at a given time. And what I hope that you recognize how difficult it is when you change your thought process. And a lot of times there are some very good 2Baton people out there that will woo you by speed and staying in that front plane and doing the same timing of release. Toss basket, everything, every big trick comes on like count 3. And is able to be completed by 5, 6, or 7, 8. The sustaining of the duration of a combination is what increases the level and they're a good indicator of their ability. So I just wanted to get y'all thinking like that. I think when you judge, sometimes you can see good flowing material, but it all explores that front plane. And their thought process is always the same. So at times when they're trying to change up the tempo, and you see it more so in 3Baton, and I'm sure they'll touch base a little bit about that, but in 2Baton you see it when they have to release at a different time in order to get more under or ongoing. And it might be coming from a backhand now rather than just a standard toss pass, always releasing it with the right hand. So they might have errors, but don't overreact. And also to see where is their development going. And because I think that this is much harder than this, correct? So you should reward and be able to recognize that at the same time. So I hope that was my woo and to introduce my topic, but I thought I had a good one, but after following everybody, I feel a little weak here. But 2Baton. It's not just twirling of 2 batons, it's the complexity of the batons as they relate to each other, just as like what we just demonstrated. And the priorities. Obvious adherence to proper sequence of development of 2 baton skills with attention to all 3 modes of twirling with a slow, steady development. The emphasis on development of smoothness, of follow-through, the pattern, the timing, the coordination. We've mentioned earlier I, interrelationship and intricacy. That is key in the event of 2 baton. And that the ambidexterity, being able to use both hands. Obviously, at the lower levels, it won't be equal, but as it gets on up to the higher levels of training, then it's just on seamless. And attention to detail to accomplish those qualities. Okay. Ability to display levels of intricacy and interrelationship as a result of technical proficiency. And at the higher levels, effortless, seamless, uninterrupted flow, keeping both batons moving. And even at the lower levels, we want them developing their follow-through, their loops, when executing both hands, rather than to do isolated solo tricks. Effective programming, highlighting the athlete's skill and supporting the concept of 2 baton event. All right, there's some, again, very talented, proficient athletes who have spent a long, maybe, career in solo freestyles, those sort of things, and then enter into multiple batons, and they feel those same problems and timing, especially in execution, that as the younger children or athletes begin coming up the ranks. So don't be wooed by the solo ability when you're judging the 2 baton event. Keep the qualities in mind. So what makes, and as we said, you have all the 3 modes that you would have in the solo events, but what makes the modes harder? Well, you need to be able to analyze why is the pass being used and how often. The most basic development in 2 baton is toss, pass, catch. Toss, pass, catch. And at the beginning levels, they're going to probably always release, not always, but be consistently releasing after a pass to the right hand. And then the difficulty of the move itself. Does it require a pass in order to set up the combination? So is the pass always to the front? Could it be happening in the back? Could it be... so analyze how the pass is being used. obviously we want to see use of both hands, so obviously passes are going to occur. And then as they progress, it might be a toss or a slap that gets them into the varied hands, right or left. Demand of the low part of high-low. That's the next progression. After you have toss, pass, catch, then you go to high-low combinations. But you don't want to see, it gets pretty boring if everything is high-low. So the next ability would be how they enter into a combination and follow through out of it. And that is controlled by timing. And as the demand increases, how much adjustment potential do they have in order? Do they wait a long time? Are those batons in the air for a long time in order to catch? Or is it like bam, bam, and they're coming up blindly and having to, or they might schedule, program a combination that requires them to go to the floor and come up for the catch, or some leap combination in it, a walkover, something. It minimizes the amount of adjustment. Reorientation, another quality that's we haven't really addressed much. When you're staying in the front plane, that's from coming around. You might be in a spin, taking your eye off the one in the air in order to do so, and then reorient to find it. Or it might be with the body going upside down in the forms of illusions, walkovers. And then when you add the added demand of multiple planes, that obviously increases the demand. Another quality of interrelationship is the opposition. Okay, the batons are coming in counter to clockwise, and are they being released at the same time? Is one hand being released before the other one, which is a little bit easier, but when they're happening at the same time and the heights may vary, that's harder to do. And then varying it up on how to interrelate it with a plane. It may be to the back plane release, may come to the back in order to use dual plane front and back, or it may be a backhand in a box sort of formation so that you're using multiple planes. And is it going always in the standard direction, or are they working in maybe spinning to the right more than what they normally have been used to doing? So all of those qualities and aspects are what makes the demand harder, and hopefully you realize that when it happens. Okay, so always remember why the pass is being used, whether the athlete has ability to reorient, and the preparation and follow through. Is it always the same? The demand of the connecting material, is it one hand just looping, or are they using both hands? How the batons interrelate, obviously, what direction the batons are moving, standard or opposition, the difficulty of the second baton during, and this is, to me, the modes. And in multiple baton, whether it's 2-baton or 3-baton, you know, we all want equal development of the modes. But I guarantee you, it's very difficult to get the same amount of demand in rolls as it does in contact and aerials. Obviously, at the lower levels in 2-baton, you want to see a lot of contact. You want a lot of full hand work and flips and releases. And then you're moving to the aerial demand. And the last would be the development of the rolls. And learning the length of time athlete is waiting for catches. So. I think from a judging standpoint for me, I'm always impressed by how intricate they can keep the roll combinations going for lengthier periods of time. That's not to say that I'm not wooed by some amazing contact work where both batons are interrelated. You know, I think it depends on how they execute it as well. And but I do know that it's so hard to keep the rolls going, just as in a solo, how hard it is to connect, cutbacks into drop-ins and keep it continuous as opposed to isolating it. And it applies here to 2Baton as well. All right? All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at 3 different athletes. I want you to have your scale in front of you, analyze the skills of what they're doing, and obviously we'll play the game, come up with the scores.
We got time for
What maybe one? Oh, very good. Good to know. All right. Okay, so let's get it right the first time. Okay, in watching her, I think that you could recognize that all of the qualities that we talked about 2Baton were addressed. So, what did you feel was her greatest strength? Yeah, she kept the batons consistent. The placement was very good. She did. The designer did a great job of choreographing the change of the planes, and especially when she went into the opposition and she's in a dual plane situation. Did you feel like her rolls were pretty interrelated, kept both batons moving? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what kind of score are we looking at? Which we had her right at in the low excellent because her speed and placement all very good, and I'm saying like a 7.6 as 7.6. Yeah, and the reason why is her placement, the use of the pattern, the planes, her thought process of timing and change of release and aerial height. Not everything was the same setup, and the detailing of what she executed. She could have gone higher, but in her dual patterns and planes were more of a contact material aspect, more full-handed work and little flips. rather than having more high aerial in those dual planes. Also, I think she's pretty standard catch, dominant, and not using a lot of varied types of catches, like slaps. She also twirls pretty center of her baton, rather than now all areas of the baton are used to execute. They're using open with the timing of a backhand or a thumb flip, so the batons are traveling at different speeds. So you may want to always keep that in mind too in your analyzation skills, because sometimes the intent is there and not a lack of efficiency because they are doing that type of release. Does that make sense? So everybody have them in high. I would say at the bottom a 6.8, but somewhere anywhere to a 7.6. That makes sense? All right, I had 2 more samples, but I've been getting the book. So thank you for your time. I hope it sheds some light into your judging of 2Baton this week. All right, thank you.